Today we have another $3 request from Neri Garcia, and this one is a pretty interesting one. What if Kakashi were to replace Mr. Aizawa as the teacher for Class 1A? Now, I'm going to mainly be talking about the plot important stuff and not really do much power scaling in the sense of like the normal, oh, he's way faster and way stronger than everybody, so he just beats everyone. Because at this point, power scaling is just getting to the point where saying stuff like that is just boring. I want to have fun with this and actually talk about like the possible interactions, story, stuff like that. One of the biggest plot points for Aizawa in one of the first arcs has to by far be the fact that he fought against the USJ Nomu. Now, he has a lot of abilities, and obviously if we're talking like pure power wise, he's definitely got more firepower and way more versatility than the Nomu. But assuming that his copied techniques that he has is effectively just residual from a quirk in this hypothetical, let's just say he has a copying power like Monoma, except it's like permanent. Purely going off of what we've seen him use, I don't know if he has anything that is going to be able to put down the Nomu in the sense of like destroying it. Keep in mind, the Nomu has high tier regeneration, it has shock absorption as one of its powers, and it has strength comparable to a fatigued All Might, which is still insane. Now, the interesting thing comes in is the fact that we are not having Aizawa's erasure ability anymore, which is going to be detrimental if he gets too distracted by the Nomu to stop Shigaraki from touching stuff. I know it's kind of messed up, but if anyone ends up getting taken out by Shigaraki, then everyone in the My Hero Society is going to blame Kakashi. I've been lingering too much on the USJ stuff. Let's move on forward. Aizawa was kind of just there a lot of the time. Like, sure, he had the ability to race quirks, but a majority of the time he never really was in the action too much. Whereas Kakashi in this hypothetical is going to be much more up there because he has techniques that can actually be more offensive, rather than Aizawa, whose whole thing is canceling out and then just beating you with skill and brute strength. So imagine once the final war comes out and it ends up having interactions with Kakashi against Shigaraki. So, if he has to go up against Shigaraki in either the first encounter or the final war, Kakashi is going to be in for one hell of a fight. Because, again, I'm not giving him DMS. He might still have regular Kamui, but I'm not sure if even Kamui, outside of like complete destruction, like complete BFR, battlefield removal for those that don't know, Shigaraki, I think Shigaraki could still heal from that. And seeing as Shigaraki's range and versatility is honestly on the level of Kakashi at this point, like if you think about it, by the time the final war happens, Shigaraki probably has just as many techniques, if not more, than even Kakashi. So, if they were to fight each other, it is going to be a battle where they are just sifting through every single ability they have to find which one works, and it just keeps on going, and the battle keeps on going until one of them finally runs out of energy or just gets the lucky hit on the other. Which, on his own, again, I'm not talking power scaling here. If this was in the world of My Hero, I don't think he would be the one to obviously win this. But I think he'd be much more versatile and be able to hold off longer than anybody else could have. Hell, I'm convinced he'd even be able to hold off Shigaraki longer than Stars and Stripes was able to. And seeing as he's able to do some pretty big damage with his pretty big attacks, every single one Shigaraki is going to feel. Also, unrelated, but also kind of related, I guess, if he was in here and it was actually just chakra and just all these techniques instead of his power turning into a quirk, that means he might be able to teach even the basics of chakra control to Class 1A, or hell, even to some of the pro heroes. If that happens, there's no telling the possibilities. What possible chakra natures that all the students would learn, all the pro heroes would learn, what possible techniques they'd develop, how big of a boost in their stats and versatility they'd get. Bare minimum, even if we just make this character the same as Aizawa, just with all the powers of Kakashi, then he's still going to be like infinitely more dangerous than Aizawa, obviously excluding the whole turn off powers gimmick. But if this is like just straight up Kakashi, his powers don't turn into quirks, it's just him as he is, it would make this verse just overall massively powerful. to the point where everyone is going to be getting a boost that interacts with him for a prolonged period of time. Even the top tiers in the verse are going to struggle to even keep up with him at speed. Sure, I'm not sure what techniques he have that could put down people with such high tier regeneration, but he's more than fast enough and has more than enough experience, the Sharingan, the Kamui, all of that, that should be able to deal with it anyways.